Good morning, afternoon actually. Um, I'd forgotten all about the time change yesterday until I did my evening Zoom call and realised that I suppose is it gaining an hour? Because the phones all changed themselves. It was just the clock in the kitchen that gave me a shock, and I wasn't an hour late for my class. I thought I was. So I thought I would just do a little bit to this again, tipping away at it. I came in this morning actually to see if the setup was ready for me to just slot in after I'd done my yoga, and um, I found myself painting it. I've done quite a bit on the pot. You know, I just came to have a look and then ended up doing stuff. Kind of inspired. It's interesting that, isn't it? Like as soon as we show up, that's half the battle, really. So I understand why folks say even if you do nothing, it's already a win if you just show up, because just exposing yourself to something. Like I was talking to my friend today about an art teacher she heard of who, for a whole year, um, gave the same still life to his art group to paint once a week. And after about 6 months, they started to make it their own. Like there was a certain kind of slavish copying of reality for a while, but then eventually something kicked in that was exciting. And I suppose the desire for novelty, that's a natural human instinct, I think, must have kicked in, because the same thing being presented to you all the time to paint, you'd have to kind of show up with something yourself or something. I love that idea. I was also listening to a writer online yesterday speaking about this very thing too, something similar to this, and I forget his name now, but he said when he goes to write, he makes himself, he said he doesn't have to, he doesn't set himself up to do anything. He goes to his space where he writes. I think it's like a studio like this at the end of the garden, and he has he has no pressure to do anything. He can do nothing. Um, all right, they're the two options, and so it's not like he can phone a friend or do any of that carry on. But he's not under any pressure to do any writing. He can just do nothing. All right, and after about 20 minutes of doing nothing, he starts to write, because it's just a bit boring, you know. He said after a while he just got bored, and that's what happens. So he knows that if he just goes out, just gives himself the job of doing nothing or writing, that eventually, without it being a setup, writing happens anyway. And it's the same with drawing. Just do nothing or draw. Give yourself a space where you sit and just daydream or, muse away. It's just you're not allowed to actually physically do anything other than draw or paint or write, for example. So you can sit there and, as I say, daydream, and which is really valuable, I think, that kind of time out of life. And I think it's from within that fertile ground that we get the inspiration even to do a bit of painting, or do, that suddenly there's a kind of desire to become part of the daydream yourself or something like that, that you have to, that somehow there's a movement, there's the impetus to move, because we're creative beings, aren't we? And creativity is, I think, by its nature, it's a flux, isn't it? All the time, creation is in flux all the time. We're part of that, and yeah, like Julia Cameron talks about that a lot in The Artist's Way, about we ourselves are creative beings, and it's our natural birthright is kind of to engage in creative activity. It's the natural way of, that's what we're naturally inclined towards. It's not like a job, really. It's just that it happens if we give ourselves the environment within which it can happen. Something like that. There's a lot of talk, isn't there? A lot of talk there now. It also almost helps me to, despite myself, get on with this too, chatting. Because there's no thinking mind coming in. I'm just placing things where I see them to be. Every so often doing a little bit of an overview. Here's Maisie. She was out with me earlier, but was a bit impatient because, oh, here we go, because she hasn't yet had her walk. And to be honest, it's later. It's not morning anymore. It's afternoon now. Early afternoon, but still. And I went to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning last night because I was sending the images for the calendar out, and I wanted to just start and finish the job. But I did get up at 9 o'clock because I was teaching at 10. So there's been a lot on. Like, I mean, it's all lovely stuff. Like, I really am very grateful to so much love what I do for a living. And it's really, yeah. There's something in the book of Free Play by Stephen McManovich. He says, not life for art's sake, but not art for life's sake, but life for art's sake, or something. Oh, I forget. But it's something to do with like creativity is the natural order of life, really. Anyway, I'm going to stop. I'm kind of losing my, you might say, marbles, losing my train of thought. I'm doing a pop-up gallery shop in Roslin. Some of you have heard this already, and that's why I wanted to get the calendars done in a hurry there. You know, I just wanted to make sure that I have at least the calendars for it. Not only that, but I'll have original art just in a mount and things, and some will be framed, and I'll have quite a few prints made of my favorite paintings, and those will be mounted. This is my plan. It's all kind of in the pipeline happening, and finding places that will, in short notice, do these things for me. Not short notice. Some of them, are happy to do things within 2 weeks. It's their natural way anyway. So we'll see if I manage to get everything. I'm sure it'll happen anyway. The weekend from the 16th to the 19th of November, and I'm doing it with my two friends, Sarah Kirkier, who does beautiful pottery, and Rona Petrie, who does beautiful jewellery. Silver jewellery, it's gorgeous. So I'm looking forward to being in collaboration with those two as well, and meeting the locals, and you, if you can manage to come, whoever you are out there. It'll be gorgeous, lovely to see you. There'll be cards and different things like that as well. And I'm hoping to make some more of those cushions that I made before. I had the Glasgow School of Arts input in making these lovely cushions. They made velvet prints of my paintings on velvet, and then with a linen back created these gorgeous cushions. So I'm going to see if I can get some of those on time as well. And some little tote bags too. We'll see. And there might be some surprise things as well that we'll see. That if I don't manage to get all of those things, I might try and do other things. We'll see. I'm still kind of playing it by ear without. I don't want to, from the outset, I didn't want it to create undue pressure in my life or anything like that. So that's still the case, obviously. Maybe I'll put some cerulean blue in here. So we're at the end of the month, but I think I'm going to do my best to carry on doing a painting every morning like this, doing some tapping away at something. Tapping away at some painting or drawing or whatever, no matter how long or short it might be. Because I really like the routine of it. But I am going to keep a radar up for any kind of harsh whip cracking, carry on, because that came in there last week for a day or two, and I realised I was being harsh on myself. In the end, for being harsh on myself, it was one of those kind of conundrum things. I just got stuck because I was trying to do all the things. I didn't leave enough time. Like, I think it's a modern day malaise is that we don't. I've never used the word malaise before. I don't even know what it means, but it just sounded like it might work there. Anyway, modern day, some might call it a scourge. This thing of doing too many things and not really being there for the thing you're doing at all in the moment, but planning the next thing. That's how I got into that. I got into that kind of trap of that last week. This thing of all the things I was doing were kind of pleasing to me, all right. Like, I didn't mind the things I was doing, but it was just that they were crammed together, and I ended up not doing anything or not being there really for anything fully. Ticking the boxes and making the stuff happen, but there was no heart in it, and there was a lot of exhaustion. And like, speaking of that now, I said I was up really late last night, and I need to watch today that I do something kind for myself. I've got a massage booked for tomorrow, but I think today too I need to do something, or maybe just not do anything. Maybe that's the key, to just stop doing. But I'll tune in and see. I feel like I'm doing a kind of a course on the subconscious, and going back to what my younger self, like my child self, would want or need, really what my needs would be as a child. If I was to have stayed up until 4 a.m., what would that child need? A siesta, I suppose, or a bath or something like that. Maybe I'll gift myself that at some point today. Now, do you hear the at some point part of that there? That makes it a bit vague, doesn't it? I think I need to commit to, I'll commit to a long, slow salt bath this evening. You heard it here first. I'm trying to get the masking tape off because there's nothing more annoying. When you're trying to, sometimes you go to frame something and there's this massive white area where the masking tape was. You go to give it to the framer, so I don't know if I'll be framing this, but I don't want to leave a big gap at the top there, so I'll just fill that in. Sometimes in the past I've left the masking tape on the painting because it was painted over and there was some critical piece of colour on it that I couldn't do without, and couldn't redo in the same way, so I just left it. Very rarely have I done that, but when it is, it's underneath the masking, it's underneath the mount normally. It might only be just like a tiny bit showing. There's some of those flowers, the yellow ones are back there, that are in the shadows, maybe a kind of yellow ochre feel to them. So I might just put a few touches of yellow ochre in there to illustrate that those flowers carry on in the dark behind, but these ones are catching the light in the foreground. And even some in the background are catching the light a little bit. Put some more cadmium red on. No, cadmium yellow mixed with the yellow ochre will, I think, give a bit of brightness to the ones in the background that have got some light falling on them. Those flowers have opened up from being buds to in full flower, some of them again. Got a clean brush, and I'm going to put out some more of that cadmium yellow. And when I did this before, I needed to mix it. Oh, there's still some on there. I needed to mix the cadmium yellow with the cadmium red in order to make it bright enough or rich enough yellow for those petals. It's funny because I thought it was more a lemon yellow. It is in places a kind of lemon yellow, actually. But I'll just put down where I see the warmer tone first. I think it's that kind of a yellow in places. And over here. And some parts of that will need lemon yellow as well. So it's funny to be putting the red in with it, but something tells me that there needs to be a touch of red in that yellow. Because lemon yellow is a very far cry from red, like. There's a petal sticking up there. And I could still put even more bright colour on the crocosmos that's sticking out over there. I mean, that leaf has moved over and over. You'll know yesterday it was quite big and now I've made it much smaller again. I think there's a bit of a yellow hint to some leaves here too. It's no harm. Yeah, and I'm gonna get my lemon yellow and see if that's what's called for. So that's the cadmium yellow there, and that's the lemon yellow. It's just a bit of a sharper, whiter yellow. And I think that might work for some final flashes on a flower where the cool daylight is meeting it. It'll take a while to dry because I've really just lobbed it on there. I like to do that, to just let the paint sit on the surface and the way a petal sits in the light. Or a part of a flower sits in the light and is drenched in it so much that it's almost like adding to its substance. And then a touch of white, or slightly off white for that little shine. It's too big a lump, I think. There's a little shine that sits here. Okay, and I'm still kind of not holding out much hope of being able to explain the brightness of the orange there, but it's not going to stop me trying. So I'll just get my cadmium red again. I'm going to try it with the cadmium yellow first. And that's not a bad rich red-orange colour, I suppose. I'll try it. I'll try it on here. You see, I wanted to explain the brightest petal, and it's maybe falling short a bit of doing that. But by virtue of its nature, like the texture of it, it is a little bit more iridescent than the same colour in acrylic would be, I think. And I can always do the thing, I was going to say the trick, I can always do the thing of making the rest of the nasturtium darker, which really it is. You know, some of those petals are really very dark where the shadows are cast or nothing, it's not catching the light. Some parts of it are very dark, and so it provides a nice contrast. I'm just going to bring some shishmizzy. I'm just going to bring some very dark colour think I need to make it with the blue and brown mix. Because with my eyes half closed, I'm noticing that here really is one of the darkest parts of the whole painting, surrounding that bright petal. Go away, Maisie. Go away. Um, no. Because really it's in making things dark enough that the light really reads as being light. We can put the darks in and then revisit the light maybe, preferably with a different brush, so that it retains its iridescence, that orange. She said not changing the brush. I wonder if I use lemon yellow with it, how would that work? Yeah, that's good. We'll put a bit on here for the brightest bit. And then up here, there's an edge of really bright nasturtium there too. And where else is it bright? It's bright here too. And now she's digging a hole in the garden. Just rounding that petal a bit more. And then there's the petal in the background. It's just about catching a nice red light too. That's just, it's reading as red, I mean in the light. Just recarving the shape of it. And then there's other colours, like greenish kind of colours in the middle. Let's see if I can make that. There's some colours in there. But the cerulean blue and the cadmium yellow seem to me to be making the colour I'm wanting for in here. And then it's more of a whitish, beigey kind of colour with a little bit of the stem of that petal that reads as being a bit lighter than the background on either side of it. In the bad books now. I need to take her out for a walk. Oh, I've gone over. It's really chilly out here today. She's got energy for a WALK. I'm almost done now. I'm going to take her. bit of footering around there. Yeah, it's freezing, isn't it? You can see your ear. I'm doing a video though. Erin, do you want to take her for a walk or will I? Are you? Oh yeah, coughing. I'll take her out after this. Yeah, I'll take her out for a quick one anyway. Did you have your vitamin tablet? I'd recommend it. I know she is a bit, isn't she? I just need to take her out really, because she's had no walk like. It'd be nice. Excitable as what she is. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. So that's what happened today. I don't know if you can really see it. Here, do you want to say hello? I sound like on video. So that's what happened, and that's the setup. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. Bye.